it kills me, you hear me? You hear me, H.P. Lovecraft?
I had fallen off so many cliffs it was ridiculous. That's what you get for naming a book The Sudden Stop. It was probably good I hadn't had the chance to tell Maine where I was going. I'd have to lose the cops and find my own way to the mine.
Oh, a train. I can't wait for that to be possessed by darkness. Won't that be nice? I do like the guy who voices, Alright, first off... Someone give me a gun. Thank you. Okay, now I feel not entirely useless. Alright, how about a grenade? 3 of you? Okay, instead of wasting bullets, we'll, flash you. Alright, is there anything up here, or am I traveling, I guess, up to the radio tower? For no reason. Guys, I sincerely apologize if this leads to nowhere. Just, you know, go on a hike. Because they'll never think to look up here, right? I could stay here all night and be safe. Except for the fact that, you know, my wife is kidnapped and being held for ransom for a manuscript. For what particular reason, I don't even know. Like, did we come to a conclusion as to why this guy wants my manuscript? Speak of the devil. Oh, and there's more flares. Totally worth it. Totally. Alright, let's catch these two. Nightingale and the radio station.
Nightingale stared through the broken studio window into the dark woods. He turned around, started to walk out, but Maine grabbed his arm. "Young man, you almost shot me. You don't shoot off rounds at people like that. What's the matter with you?" Nightingale shook his arm free, marched out. His cheeks burned with rage and humiliation.
Yeah, rage and humiliation.
Danny had stepped out, but what stumbled back in was something else. Something alien. A monster. Walter tried to kill it, first with his fists, then a chair. It wouldn't die. Instead, it kept coming, unaffected by the beating it had taken. After Walter managed to kick it down the cellar stairs, fear took over. He ran, got behind the wheel, gunned the engine. The booze wouldn't make him forget, but he knew he had to try.
Well, I guess I know what I'm going up against next, huh? So I know last episode I was talking about darkness and fear. Is there anything you guys have particular fears of? Whether it's irrational fears or, you know, anything like that? Like, you know, if there were anything that were to scare me, it would probably be the dark. Would terrify me the most, would probably instill the most fear into me. And with that being said, I suppose there are different types of fear. Because, like, I'd be terrified for a loved one if, you know, they were in a car crash or almost died or something like that. But I don't know if that's the same fear as, like, pure horror. I mean, I suppose it's fear nonetheless, but something different, wouldn't you say? Because that, you know, that's the sort of thing that would really terrify me is, I guess, loss of a loved one or endangered safety of a loved one. Because, like, I've been in car accidents and many situations where, for all intents and
There was no
purposes,
sensible reason for the power company work lights to be here. It was almost as if they'd been left for someone like me to use.
for all intents and purposes, I probably should have died a few times over. I just looked out my window and saw two young kids playing Pokemon Go. Just having a good old time, you know? Sound and Fury. Let's get some health real quick. Please and thank you. No? No immediate health from that? I see manuscript though. You know, it's funny. My family and I moved into this new neighborhood about 2 years ago. And I don't think I have ever seen more people out since Pokemon Go became a thing. Maybe it's perhaps because I'm never home. That could be a thing too. You know, I always come home later in the day. Thanks to work. As a manager. Sacrifice. Job security. But it's really neat to see things like, you know, Pokemon Go and other apps or crazes or situations just bring people out. Unlike the time one of my neighbor's houses caught on fire and everyone came out to see what was going on. That is not the ideal situation for a communal gathering.
Hello?
The most stubborn man I've ever met.
Alice? Alice?
Alan, I'm so afraid. It keeps me in the dark. Please help me. I look at you, Alan, and it's not you. Something else. Looking out from behind your eyes.
Alice, I'm here.
I'm so alone here. It's all gonna go to hell. You need to be careful. Cooperate.
The connection had been terrible, but that wasn't the only thing that hadn't been right with the call. She sounded wrong somehow. but she had called me.
She sounded calm. She wasn't panicked. She wasn't as fearful as I would have expected. Three flares and more batteries. And there goes the same kid, third time, jogging around the neighborhood. I mean, I'm sure not gonna blame him for anything. He's getting more exercise than I ever have in the past year. See, I was trying to avoid dying and using flares. Actually,
Hello?
I probably have...
He's the most stubborn man I've ever met.
I will have more flares.
Alice?
I'll use one of those
Alan,
instead of the
so
flashbangs.
afraid. Keeps me in the dark. Please help me. I look at you, Alan, and it's not you. Something else. Looking out from behind your eyes.
Alice, I'm here.
I'm so alone here. It's all gonna go to hell. You need to be careful. Cooperate.
The connection had been terrible, but that wasn't the only thing that hadn't been right with the call. She sounded wrong somehow, but she had called me.
But yeah, life's an interesting creature for me lately. A lot of work, not a lot of time. YouTube has just become, you know, harder to do. Streaming has become harder to do, especially because my internet's been botching up quite a bit, but what can you do? It's life. So for those of you watching, you know, thank you. Thank you for hanging out, sticking around, commenting, listening. I do
I could
this...
see a railway bridge up ahead and a warehouse of some sort on the opposite shore. I hoped I could find a car from there.
You know, I do this for my own entertainment for the most part, you know. I enjoy playing games. I've always enjoyed playing games, and I've always enjoyed watching them. So I like to try and give that back, you know, because I've spent a lot of my life watching people play games and not getting to experience them myself, and you know, each experience is unique and different.
The darkness that was pursuing me was growing stronger, and it was taking over everything in its path.
Oh, now you're possessing items? Flare! Ow! The crap! Is that it? Is that everything? Jeez. Ouch. Someone get me some light, please.
Sarah trusted her gut, and her gut said Agent Nightingale was an asshole. He felt wrong, and it wasn't just the smell of stale booze. It was in the way he flashed his badge, pulled rank, the look in his eyes when he wanted answers. Where was Alan Wake? What was this about an accident? Where was his wife? And most importantly, why did she let Wake go? He wouldn't answer her questions. Federal business was all he'd say. The pipe wrenched itself loose from the bridge's steel framework. Wrapped in darkness, it floated in midair, twitching. For a moment, I didn't understand what I was looking at. The heavy object lurched at me with impossible force. I threw myself out of the way, but just barely. When I turned my flashlight on it, it shook in a dark rage before it flew at me again. I slammed the door shut right in his smug face. He pleaded for me to open the door. True to form, the asshole actually thought I would obey. I had no sympathy left, no guilt either, not for him. I took a moment to savor the scream. I bet I had a smile on my face. It was all that I had time for. The dark presence was inside the lodge with me.
Well, that's sudden. But yeah.
As a teenager, just starting to get interested in writing, Stephen King had been a source of inspiration to me. I thought about all the inanimate objects that had come to life in his books. No one is safe in a good horror story.
Ooh.
Certainly not the protagonist.
Heavy duty?
That's what makes them fun. This
You
was
bet
anything
your
but.
butt I
The
would.
darkness could possess anything, and it was getting closer.
But yeah, so, you know, I do this for myself, but I also do this to try and entertain you guys, whoever's watching. You there with the good-looking face and the cool shirt on, or if you're Bruce, no shirt on, but that's a different story.
Did you call 911?
Woo! Jump for success. But yeah, so I do this to entertain. Because it's fun, it's enjoyable. Hello. And in more recent times, I've really just grown infatuated with entertainment, like movies and special effects and podcasts and radio shows and books and stories and, you know, short films, animation, just like everything you could possibly think of.
We take the facts of our existence for granted.
The Twilight Zone is a good example of some good writing.
Covering a vast cosmos of madness and horror. All too often, the stars are right. In Night Springs. Tonight's episode, a family occasion.
Wish I could sit. Can I crouch?
Trip to study the local customs of an insular community
I
in
can
Night
switch
Springs has been
sides.
less than successful. Until tonight.
Well, I'm glad you changed your minds about this. Ancient customs, local mythology. My editor loves this kind of stuff.
Well, Mr. Derleth, we don't want to feel like we're on exhibition, but you have demonstrated the seriousness of your intent.
Oh, I am serious. Really, just do your thing. I'll stay out of your way and observe.
Actually, I thought you could assist us. I'm afraid we are a man short. It would provide you with an intimate perspective.
Could I really?
Of course, Mr. Derleth.
Well, I guess that's the least I... What would I have to do?
Oh, here. Let me show you with a kiss.
What did you...
Oh, Mr. Derleth, you have well pleased Nixie Perka, the dweller in flesh. Your body shall host his 1,000 young, and all shall be glory. Shh, darling, be calm. Shh.
Alvin Derleth learned a harsh lesson. If you go looking for mythology, it may come looking for you. And such quests always bear fruit. In Night Springs.
Huh. Short, but a little creepy. Note to self, don't kiss random attractive strangers, because they may inject you with the offspring of an ancient mythological god, creature. Oop. Hello. Give me batteries. Reached item limit. Okay. Ow. Nope. Wow. Okay, dude. You need to calm down. You need to calm down big time. Oh. I certainly was not expecting a bulldozer to come after me. That was so cool. That was a really neat boss fight. Can I get up here? No? Okay. Oh, miraculous. It's a truck. Alright, let's see. Did I have any more? Wake attacked by the dark
darkness
presence.
surged towards me, sucking everything loose from the ground into its depths, tugging at my clothes. I saw the flare the kidnapper had dropped and threw myself towards it just as I felt my feet leave the ground. The darkness embraced me with the force of a tornado. Somehow I managed to light the flare. The darkness roared and cast me away. I fell toward the dark waters of the lake far below. The bulldozer's engine roared to life. Mud and rocks flew as it fought for traction. It crashed through the concrete wall and landed heavily in the yard. If it were an animal, it would have shaken its head after the impact, fixed its eyes on me, and charged. Of course, it had no head, nor eyes. Shadows crawled on its form, twisting it into a monster. Then, it came for me.
You know, there is a reason why I don't work construction.
There's an old town road with mystery of Tom the poet and his muse, and a magic lake which gave a light to the words the poet used. Now the muse she was his happiness, and he rhymed about her grace, and told the stories of treasures deep beneath the blackened waves.